Right, welcome back. Sorry guys for taking too much
Hi,
time on the
sir.
break. Hello. So we'll now go to the last part of our discussion of the diagnostic test, and we will go to the um, comprehension. So before we discuss comprehension questions, I'm going to give you a short um, lessons on comprehension. Okay, because comprehension, it's very hard to answer comprehension questions. By the way, guys, can you see that logo?
Yes, sir.
Yes, po, sir.
Right, very good. So we'll now go to the comprehension module, because what I have experienced so far when I'm answering college entrance test is it's the comprehension mode part that is the most time consuming, and it's basically where you will spend a lot of time deciding on the correct answer, because sometimes all the answers or all the choices are the same. And my tip for you guys is when you're answering comprehension question, you skip that if they put that in the first part of the test. You answer the rest first, like the analogy, the spelling, the finding the error in the sentence, before you go to the comprehension part. Because in comprehension, you will have to read a long passage, and their weight when it comes to the points is the same. Sometimes you will read a very long passage, and then the questions related to that passage is only 3 points. So the time you spend understanding is worth 3 points, which you could have spent answering 10 uh, exam questions, right? So I would suggest that you save comprehension for last. Okay, but if you have enough time, then let's go ahead and try to learn about understanding what we read in a passage. So developing comprehension skills through effective reading techniques. So the first thing that you should do is the skimming, meaning you scan first. You do not read right away the passage. What you need to do is you skim that. You just sort of scan or look at it, and then you go directly to the questions. Usually they are 2 or 3 questions. So you read them, the questions, to find out what you need to look for when you read the passage. Okay, that's skimming. And when you know the details of what I'm sorry. So skimming is this reading technique enables the reader to move quickly over the material in order to get an idea of its subject without having to pay close attention to details. So you will just skim over the passage quickly, and then not really paying attention to the details, because you want to go to the question part, so you can know what you need to look for. And through skimming, you can preview or survey the text, select what is relevant, and set these aside for further study. So when you skim, you will it will allow you to see what is the main paragraph in the passage, so you can focus on that when you go back at the selection. And here are the guides for skimming. Read the selection as fast as you can. Focus on the keywords. Bear in mind that the first sentence usually tells the topic of the paragraph. In a real life exam, I would suggest that you skim really fast and then read the question. That's it. No attention to details. But of course, if you're doing private review, like in the general science, when we go to the general science part, you will have a lot of readings when it comes to, like, let's say earth science. So you can skim first the book that you're trying to read, to just have a feel of the knowledge that you're going to take in before you go to the actual reading. All right, so let's have a short. There you go. So I'll give you a minute. So kindly skim over this. So you read it really fast for 1 minute. And I want you to get the main idea, not the detail. I just want you to read it really fast and then get the main idea. I'll give you a minute. All right, that ends your 1 minute. So without focusing on a detail, what do you think is, the passage all about? Anyone? What have you learned on the passage? Para saan ba yung passage na yon? Anong sinasabi nun? Right? Without going into the detail. Let me check our chat. There you go. Hindi porket makulay, masarap. Very good. That's basically the main idea. So what do you think is the focus of the paragraph? So the main idea is not because it looks good, it's healthy and will taste beautiful, because appearances can be deceiving. In fact, they're using that in the market. Remember your watermelon? They would put oil in the watermelon so it will, look shiny and healthy. But if you open the watermelon, it's actually almost, dry and undernourished, not red in color. So things like that. So what do you think is the focus of the passage? Can I have an answer from the others? You may chat or you may, answer using your microphone. There you go. To inform. The focus here is to inform you that you should, when you're buying food, you should not focus on appearance alone. Okay. So basically, those are what you will get in skimming. It will give you the main gist of the message and also the focus. So the main idea here is that shopkeepers deceive customers by making use of special light to make their meat and vegetable look always fresh. But they are not all, they may look fresh, but again, hindi masarap because, what do you call this? Luma na, something like that. It's already old. And the focus of the paragraph is to inform shoppers that when you're shopping, you do not base your judgment on the appearance alone regarding the quality of the food you're buying. So thank you for your input. For those who chatted, who are those? Let me just see. So there's Pauline and also Koji. Okay. Now we have another method, which is scanning. This time, remember I've told you when you go to the comprehension part, I want you to read first the question so that you will now know what to look for. You will know the details that you will be looking for. And this time, when you read, you will do the scanning. You will not read the entire passage because you will only look on the answer to the question that that the exam is asking of you. Okay. Okay, I thought there's a question. So in order for you to know the details, that's the time that you go to scanning. So scanning is looking for the details after you have read the question. And all right, so this technique is needed when you wish to look for a specific information, like you read the questions already. And you may be looking for a particular name or date in your article on history. Like if the question is, who are the two friends fighting in this passage, then you will, you know right away that when you read, you will be looking for the particular names. So you can answer the question. A specific statistical data in a table of graph or a formula in a given list of formulas. The idea in scanning is not to read all the materials, but merely to get the items you want. You ignore everything else. And that is what you should do when answering the comprehension exam, because again, your time is limited. You cannot use all of your time trying to answer comprehension questions. So pointers for scanning, know what you want to find. That's why I want you guys to read the questions first before you read the passage. Consider only the specific details needed. What is asked, that's what you look for. Determine the context clues that will help you. So if you have a particular word that's unfamiliar, then look for the other words in the sentence that will give you the idea what that particular word means. Read the text as fast as you can to find the clues. Remember, you're under time pressure, so read fast. And then read the sentence again where you find the desired detail. So after you find what you're looking for, that's the time you do the repeat reading. And this time you read it carefully, okay? So that's the technique for scanning. So we have discussed already looking for context clues when I discussed when we tackled the synonyms or answering what the word means in a sentence. So those are the context clues, like the ambiguous, that's what I told you earlier, and the innate. You will find out that ambiguous means it's not clear because of the sentence, explain what you mean. That means it's not clear. Or when I tell you tell his innate characteristics and you have no idea what innate means, look for the context clues here. It's said not the acquired ones. So if it's not the acquired ones, then it's probably the one that is already in the person since she was born, okay? Now, sometimes questions will ask you to also get the main idea. So getting the main idea, basically you just get the general statement of the paragraph, not the detail, but what it's talking about. Like what we did earlier, someone answered that hindi lahat ng magandang tingnan masarap. That's the main idea, okay? That sometimes looks, especially in food, can be deceiving. And the main idea provides unity, progression, and order in the paragraph. If you find out what the main idea is about, all the other sentences that you're reading in the paragraph will start making sense, okay? So read. Again, the main idea ties together the sentences. So you will be able to use this when you are doing self-reading, not only with your English, but also with general science and, of course, not with math. With math, you need someone to explain to you the concepts, okay? But with general science, this is a very good way to practice. Identifying the main idea in the paragraph is crucial because it makes the key substance of what you read. Okay, I think that's self-explanatory, okay? So here are the guides for getting the main idea. So first, look for the common idea in the selection. So in the first passage, it's about food and how they are made to look good. The main idea is variably placed in the selection. The main idea may start the paragraph maybe at the middle or at the end. So in my rule here is basically it's in the first part, but in my experience when I'm reading comprehension questions, they give you paragraphs where the main idea is somewhere or placed anywhere in the paragraph. The main idea is the most important information in the paragraph, so that's what you should look for. See to it that the main idea must be taken from the given paragraph. Formulate the main idea based on the way you comprehend the selection. Okay, sometimes the main idea is not stated word for word. Sometimes you will have to, arrive at the conclusion. Or sometimes even some details are not given, and you will have to make some inference. Inference is, supplying the details that is being implied in the passage. Okay. So one is noting the details. If there are details in the passage, you note them down. So the reader focuses his attention by remembering ideas found in the selection. And this is used in a factual type of reading, which you will not do in the exam. So I don't think you should use this. But in reading the general science textbooks, that's the time you use this, when you look for the factual reading. Like, for example, if we discuss in the cell biology, and some of the questions there are with regards to the parts of the cell, then you will do factual type of reading. When you open your biology book, you will be looking for the facts regarding the different parts of the cell. And also, this technique requires a relatively slow and accurate way of reading. Generally, the details to be considered are those related to the central or theme of the selection. So again, this is not during the exam. This is during your study sessions or self-study if you're reading your general science. And when we tackle general science, we will, tackle a lot of details. So guys, to follow, read the selection slowly and carefully. Again, this is in self-studying, not during the exam, because you're under time pressure. Identify the details that you are supposed to remember. And you can do that by, writing them down. Guys, taking notes when you write down something, it also has a, what do you call this? The one that you're writing, it helps you with memory recall. Because if you can remember, if you're a visual person and you see something and you can remember them easily, some people are the pragmatic type of learner. They remember things if they're able to write them down. Okay, so if you are that type and you know that you can remember a particular detail easier if you do it or you write it down, then make that your own method of taking notes. You write them down. Determine the significant and insignificant ideas. Again, in order for you to focus on what is really important, you must be able to remove all other irrelevant details. Okay, like when you're studying the parts of the cell, you don't need to know all the different types of cells or the different shapes of cells. You're just focused on the individual parts, like the mitochondria, the lysosome, okay, the Golgi apparatus, the nucleus, the cell wall, something like that. So you find out the main and the supporting details. So if you find the main parts of a cell, you may go into the details, like what is the Golgi apparatus used for. So it's for packaging protein inside the cell. What is the lysosome? It's for breaking down, so on and so forth. Then you organize your main and supporting details. So that is for studying, okay? Now again, remember guys, sometimes not all of the details are supplied inside the passage. Sometimes you have to predict the outcome, okay? And sometimes the authors will do that on purpose, okay? Not supply the rest of the details in order to encourage you to supply the ending yourself, okay? So this is a reading technique that helps the reader to take the role of a foreteller. So the reader can foresee the expected results and the probable consequences based on concrete and specific tendencies or trends observed, okay? And it's what we call the active reading. Since here, you will participate, you will use your critical thinking, you will not just absorb knowledge, you will contribute your own. So it's like sort of knowledge creation as well, okay? And also it gives you an attitude of anticipation of things that was not mentioned in the story, but is being, predicted. Also here, the reader analyzes the current happenings and then you form your own analysis and then you predict what are the possible outcomes, okay? Of course, the accuracy of the predictions will depend on how well you interpret the data and how well you read and get those details, and how you compare those details into the trends that you currently know of. Again, here are the guides to follow. So you read carefully the selection, then you scan the ideas and determine the correlation. Then you draw conclusions and generalizations about the selection presented. Look forward for the possible outcomes of what was read and use background knowledge in predicting an outcome. Again, this knowledge creation because you are using the details that you have learned through reading, and then adding your own knowledge and experiences, like your knowledge of trends, and then you compare the facts that you have gathered so far, and then you form a conclusion. Okay, so we will not we don't have time for this because we still have comprehension questions to tackle. So let me just read to you this passage. The Philippines today suffers from the longest lockdown in the world due to COVID-19. This has a catastrophic effect on our economy and government officials trying to loan billions of pesos abroad in order to survive. In this way, our people will be provided with some financial assistance to buy food and other basic commodities. On the contrary, IATF keeps on mandating useless directives like the motorcycle barrier, so they will appear important in doing something to fight COVID. This incurs additional expenses. Hence, IATF makes our people lose their interest and confidence in it. So basically, this will give you points to ponder, like what will happen if the present pandemic remains unresolved for the next 10 years. So you cannot see those details being written on the passage, right? But it will, encourage you to form a conclusion, which is probably there will be more deaths and people will get angry at the government's ineffective response. So probably that will be your response. Like the motorcycle barrier, after everyone bought the motorcycle barrier, and Secretary Anyo said, oh, it's no longer needed. See? A lot of riders get angry with that. Okay? So you predict the consequences that may happen in the future if the trend goes on. So if you do that in the passage, I could predict that unemployment rate will go higher and higher. The living conditions of the people will not improve economically. Many will die. It's not stated on the passage, but based on my experience, the trends that I know of, then this is the new conclusion and additional knowledge that I have formed. And sometimes you could put in your comment by paraphrasing what you have read. So it's simply a recording of something spoken or written, like retaining the meaning of a given material in simpler language by using your own words. Okay. Sometimes languages are deep with a deeper meaning, and you will be asked to paraphrase them into layman's term so that other people can understand easily. Okay. And the guides to follow there is you read the text carefully, limit yourself to the meaning of the selection, continue your ideas to what the author says, preserve the tone and form of the original and other existing qualities as much as possible, and then you state it using your own words. Okay. Like this. This is actually Good Fences Make Good Neighbors is a poem from Robert Frost. It's a really nice poem, but it has a deeper meaning, okay? That if you mean is you just make good fences so that you will not be in fight with your neighbor. The meaning there of Robert Frost is regarding upholding tradition even if they are no longer needed anymore, okay? Like the, I'm thinking of a tradition that's like the mano po. It's it's the tradition of the Filipinos to express what do you call this? Paggalang. okay, to honor your parents and your lolo and lola. But in this pandemic, it's not needed anymore because of the, you know, threat of infection. Because if the hands of the adult is infected with COVID and the children do the mano po, then you might propagate the infection. Now we also have summarizing. Sometimes we summarize after we get the gist of the original idea that the author intends to say, and it requires you to have a clear thinking. When you're reading, do not preoccupy yourself with other thoughts, like the thought of your high school crush, because you cannot focus on what the author is writing. And then when you make a summary, you should preserve the key ideas of the selection, okay? And then organize and develop the ideas using your own words with as few words as possible, okay? Because if your summary is longer than the original passage or article, then it's not summarizing, okay? Again, guides to follow, read the selection carefully, take down only the key ideas, rewrite accurately each main idea in your own words. This is where paraphrasing comes in. And then disregard the ideas which are not important. Okay? If they are just additional details, remove them, okay? Use your own words when writing your own summary. Again, the skill of paraphrasing. Of course, you have to base your summary on the author's point of view. That's why it's very important for you to apply the scheming, the scanning, and the drawing of conclusion for you to get the author's point of view, which you will have to replicate when you write your summary. And do not add your own opinion because it will just prolong your summary. And the rule that we're applying here is if the original passage is 90 words, then your summary must be composed of not more than 30 words or not more than 1/3 of the original. That's how good you are in summarizing things. Like, let's take this example. What existed or happened in the past may have been beautiful or exciting. It may now bring profound and precious memories, but the past is dead, and it is not healthy for living spirits to linger over a world inhabited by ghosts. The past may also be a place of horror, of regret, of spilled milk, of unfortunate deeds that cannot be undone, of sad words like might have been. However, it is painful and pointless to fixate on a period which cannot be relieved or repaired. It is unproductive self-punishment. So your conclusion, past is past, never discuss, right? That's basically the main idea of the author. So I can create a summary like just one sentence. Forget the past, for it's part of your life which you cannot change or live through again. You cannot go back to the past, okay? Past is past, never discuss. Of course, you have to put it in a nice sentence. So that's a summarizing for you. And we also make inference. Some of your comprehension questions will require you to form an inference. So it's a type of reading that requires you to be sensitive in getting clues so that you can link them with your own experience and arrive at the right information. Like it allows the reader to guess the ideas are deduced, which are implied from the details that are expressed. Like just consider this saying, what the writer implies, you infer. So you do not need to know all the details because some of the details are just, you know, it's just implied. You do not have to be dictated every word in order to know the real meaning of the story, okay? It's like you forgot your anniversary with your girlfriend, and when you get to meet her at the school, she's like her arms is on her hips and her face, you know, you cannot describe her face because she's very angry. You do not ask. You do not have to ask. Han, are you angry? Or what do you call your girlfriend? Babe, are you angry? You don't have to ask that because it's already, you have to make an inference that your girlfriend is angry and probably for a reason. Okay. Then after inference, we also draw conclusions. So for inference, we'll look for the details that are not mentioned but are implied. For drawing conclusions, we'll look for the details that are written in the passage, and then we, based on those details, we form a conclusion. Okay, so it's like, again, predicting outcome or the consequence, and also we make a comprehensive, you know, summary and conclusion of all the things that we have read so far. So that's basically the concept behind forming a conclusion. Okay, you form it into a principle, conclusion, or generalization. So to be able to do that, you should see the relationship between the given facts, and then you must arrange your conclusion in the order that is logical and valid. Okay, you cannot form conclusion by just saying no one is perfect. Nobody is perfect. I am nobody, therefore I am perfect. Because that's not a logical explanation, because you're using the term nobody with two different meaning. In the first sentence, nobody is perfect, you're referring to the word nobody as no person is perfect, right? And then when you, on the second sentence, when you say I'm a nobody, it's not referring to the absence of persons, but it is, the meaning of nobody there is that you have accomplished nothing. So that's not a logical conclusion. So in forming a conclusion, you must also use your stock knowledge, and then you add the knowledge or the details that you have gained, and then you form a valid principle, generalization, or conclusion that will, you know, be a new knowledge to the reader. So those are my modules on comprehension. It's a fast discussion because basically comprehension questions are like only 10 items in an exam. So when I'm teaching teachers, DepEd teachers, or those who will take the EPT, English Proficiency Test, then I have a deeper discussion of this. But for now, this will be sufficient for you guys. So we will use that when we answer comprehension question, like the one I gave you today. So we have here a passage by Jose Rizal. So it reads here, let us be reasonable and open our eyes, especially you women, because you are the first to influence the consciousness. Again, I've told you, before you read this long passage, you skim them and first look for the question. So the questions are, to whom is Rizal's letter, writing this letter? What did Rizal means by no good water comes from a turbid bitter spring, no savory fruit comes from acrid seed? And what is he meaning by the passage? Okay, so that's what I will be looking for when I read this. Okay, so here, let's read, let's be reasonable and open our eyes, especially you women. All right, so Rizal is writing to women, because you are the first to influence the consciousness of man. If you are a woman that influenced a man, then you must be an authority, right? Like probably a mother to a child. So now I have another clue that it is not just women, but another sector of women, which is probably mothers. Next, remember that a good mother, so that's my next clue, that is not just about women, but for a specific sector, which are the mother. does not resemble the mother that the friar has created, she must bring up her child to be the image of the true God. All right, so that goes to the question, or answers the question, what mother should be. Should be, loving God, okay? Not of a blackmailing, a grasping God, but of a God of who is the Father of us all. So you should not follow what the friars tells you to, to be like if you're a mother. Who is just, who does not suck the lifeblood of the poor like a vampire, nor scoffs at the agony of the sorely beset, or makes a crooked path of the path of justice. So guys, once you know the questions in the exam, you do not need to read this in detail. Does not suck the lifeblood. So these are just additional details which are not important to your reading of the passage. Awaken and prepare the will of our children towards all that is honorable, judged by the proper standards, to all that sincere firmament of purpose, clear judgment, clear procedure, honesty in act and deed, love for the fellow man, and respect for God. This is what you must teach your children. So basically, in GIST, mothers should, form or teach their children in the ways of the Lord and of the love of country and of fellow. Okay. And seeing that life is full of thorns and thistles, you must fortify their minds against any stroke of diversity and accustom them to danger. So now I'm very convinced that Rizal here is writing to mothers and instructing them how to, how to, what do you call this? How to train their children to become a better citizen. Let's read again, or let's read further. The people cannot expect honor nor prosperity so long as they will educate their children in a wrong way. So long as the woman who guides the child in his steps is slavish and ignorant, no good water comes from a turbid bitter spring, no savory fruit comes from the acrid seed. So now I know what Rizal means by this. If the woman or the mother is of poor quality, then the children that will grow under her training will also be poor citizens of the country. So we can now go back to answering the questions. To whom is Rizal writing this letter? Mother. Most of you answered women. And it's probably because you just read in the first sentence when Rizal said especially women, but you did not do a further reading. That it's not just women, but mother who are raising their children. So the correct answer here is mother, the best answer. Although women is also correct, but again, guys, as I've told you before, you have to select the best answer in your college entrance test. Next. What did Rizal mean by no good water comes from a turbid bitter spring, no savory fruit comes from acrid seed? So I know right away this is with regards to children being trained by mothers, right? It's what the statement is all about. So when I look at the responses, people should buy only distilled water from Wilkins. So of course, that's not the answer. Children idolize their parents, no connection. A farmer must plant sweet fruit-bearing trees, again, no connection. It's about children's behavior depending on how they were raised, okay? So everyone answered this correctly, 84. So I grabbed this when everyone have already, or most have answered the exam. So according to Rizal, which of the statements are true? Women must bring up their children to be the image of God, or women must not bring up their children. So if I answer B, it's not A, because these are just opposites, okay? A mother must live in the path of the woman of virtue taught by the friars. So Rizal did not say this. He said, do not, you must bring up their children to be the image of God, not the image of God as taught by the friars. He's against the friars in this passage. And God will hate women if they don't go to church every day. It's not mentioned, okay? So the correct answer here, and 92.8% got this correctly, is that women must bring up their children to be the image of God. So remember, guys, it helps you to better understand the passage if you first read the questions below it. There are just 2 or 3 questions. And then after you read the questions, that's the time you begin reading the passage. All right, let's take a look at another. All right, this is again a poem by Robert Frost, In the Woods. Let's read the questions first. So, why did the horse rider stop? So I will be looking for that in the passage. Why did he continue on his journey? So stop and then go. I will also look for that. So only 2 questions. I think I put in 3 questions here, but I'm unable to. Oh, it's on the next slide. All right. So why did the horse rider stop? I will now read and look for that detail. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. It's not mentioned here. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. Again, there's no reason here. He just said that the horse is thinking that you're crazy, and there's no reason yet, okay? It's just that the horse thinks you're crazy. You're stopping for no reason. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flakes. Still no reason why he stopped. And then last, there you go. There's your reason. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep. So he stopped to admire the woods that are lovely, dark, and deep, okay? When you say dark, it's not because it's about to, you know, getting dark. The woods, if you can imagine before, the forest are, there's a lot of leaves that the sunlight is, you know, finds it hard to penetrate the foliage. That's why it's very dark in a, you know, in a forest. So that's what it means. It's a very beautiful sight. Lush, lovely, dark, and deep forest. Okay. So there I now get the answer to question number 1. But I have promises to keep. So after he stopped for admiring, he went on again because it was explained by the next paragraph or sentence. But I have promises to keep. He has other obligations. And miles to go before I sleep. And miles to go before I sleep. Now let's now go to the questions. Why did the horse rider stop? Because of he wants to admire the woods. So that's letter A. Okay. Some said because it's snowing. Yes, it's snowing, but it's not the reason to stop. Because if it's snowing, that's the reason. He would not have gone out of his house in the first place. Okay. Because his horse thinks he's queer. This is already the what they call the effect of him stopping. The horse thinks he's queer because the owner of the woods is not there. Again, this is not a reason. It's just an observation that the owner is not there. So it's letter A, to admire the woods. And then we have 2 lines there. The first line says, "And miles to go before I sleep." So it means, you know, basic, he's still away from home. What does the second mention, "and miles to go before I sleep" in the last line mean? So if this is just a poem about, you know, with shallow expressions of, you know, you a long way from home, you still need to travel, let's say 10 kilometers, then this will not be a very, very nice poem that will be admired all over the world. So the second line here, "and miles to go before I sleep," must have a deeper meaning. And that is where we will now form conclusion. Okay, remember our discussion. predicting outcomes, inferences, forming conclusion. This is where, even though Robert Frost did not write in the details, by adding your own knowledge with regards to miles to go before you sleep, you know right away that sleep could mean two things: sleep for the night or sleep forever in death, right? So the fact that he repeats the two line means the first one is for the first meaning. He's literally miles away from his house where he sleeps. And on the second line, it has a deeper meaning. That's why this poem is very, famous. The second meaning is he may stop for some time, but he has miles to go, meaning he has to achieve a lot of things first before he sleep. He finally rest and sleep in death. So the answer to that is, it is good to rest and admire, but continue moving forward because you have a lot to accomplish in life before you die. Okay, so that's why this, and 34 students were able to form the right conclusion on what Robert Frost mean by this passage. Okay, many said, I put this reason, repetition for emphasis. No, this is a trap answer. If you do not know, or you did not form a conclusion when you're reading the poem, you will fall for this trap, that it's just repetition for emphasis. And 42 of you fall for the trap. Again, guys, when you're reading a passage and you want to get the correct answer, you really first understand the passage and form the right conclusion. Let's now go to forming the inference. Forming inference, like this passage. Bobby went to a birthday party. He played games, watched his friend open presents, and sang happy birthday to her. Afterwards, he helped clean up the mess. Before he went to the party that early afternoon, Bobby had eaten a big lunch at home. He asked his friend if he could take a piece of cake home to eat later. So there are some details here that were not mentioned. Sorry, I did not read the questions first. So the questions is, Bobby's friend is it a young boy, an old man, young girl, old lady? So I will look for that clues. So I'll go back to the passage. Bobby went to a birthday party. He played games. Therefore, it's a young boy or lady, because if it's an old people celebrating, it's not playing games anymore. Probably dancing, something that old people do during birthdays. Watched his friend open presents and sang happy birthday to her. There you go. That's your clue. Her, that means she is a young girl. Okay. Now, the next question is, why did Bobby ask to bring a cake home? Okay, so the clue here is, after he helped clean up the mess, before he went to the party that early afternoon, Bobby had eaten a big lunch at home. That means if you had eaten a lot, then you're already filled. So when he went to his friend's house, he could no longer eat the piece of cake because his stomach is full. So he just asked for the cake to be wrapped and for him to take it home to eat later. So that's the inference. It's not in the passage, but if you know how to form inference, that was implied when it says there, he ate lunch before going to the party, then he goes to the party filled up already. Okay, so the correct answer is, why did Bobby ask to bring a cake home? It is because he is filled up and he can no longer take any more food. So guys, always remember, this is what I can give you as a tip, not during the taking of exam, but when you're going to a birthday party, make sure you're hungry. Okay, so if the birthday party starts at 1 p.m., do not take your lunch so that you will go to the party. You have an empty stomach, so you can eat a lot. Okay, so that's one of the tips. But basically, this passage is may magpa-party po ngayon, sir. Oh, so who has a birthday today? We have you have a classmate whose birthday is today. Okay, so this passage is appropriate for you. Okay. Yes, sir. Can you name the
Yes, sir. Si Kenly.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Kenley, happy birthday. Can everyone turn on your mic and then let's
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, Kenley. Birthday to you. Where's Kenley? Kenley is not. Is Kenley here?
Happy birthday, Lee.
Yes, sir. Hi.
Birthday.
All right. Happy birthday, Kenley. Okay. So
Thank you, sir.
all right, you're welcome. So I think all of your other classmates have also greeted you happy birthday. So let's continue again. My tips, guys, if it's no longer COVID, when you will attend a birthday party, make sure you're hungry so you could take in a lot of food. All right, so we now go to the passage of Rizal. Oh, we're only 41 left, so that's 10 was not able to make it until the last. Don't worry, we will only tackle a few more questions, and then you can all Mac Kenley, shucks, nagulat ako. All right, so let's continue. So it's already 7:14. So here, this is a Filipino poem by Jose Rizal. The original title in Filipino is Sa Aking Mga Kabata. And Rizal wrote this poem at 8 years old. So remember or try to imagine how good he is with his handling of words. He was able to create a poem that is very much like Robert Frost. Okay?
Rizal.
Who said that? Sir Tips, but minsan nang hirap intindihin ng poem. You have to be a poem lover for you to understand poems. Okay? And in CET, they might give you poems to read. So according to Rizal, children can show love of country through what? So that's what we will look for. Whoever knows not how to love his native tongue is worse than any best or evil smelling fish. Means what? So this is in the song, ang hindi magmahal sa sariling wika ay mabaho pa at mas mabaho pa sa malansang isda. So now you know where the lyrics of that song comes from. It comes from Rizal. So when we read the poem, that's the question that we will answer. Okay? Mas mabaho pa kay Sheila. Oh no, Sheila is not a fish. But if Sheila is hates her Filipino language, then it's like she is hating her own what do you call this origin, her own people. Okay, that's what it basically means. But it does not mean that when we speak English we hate Filipino. We also speak Filipino, but in a appropriate setting and appropriate ways. For now, I'm not speaking Filipino because this is an English tutorial, right? So how can I tell you guys that I'm a good English teacher if I do not know how to speak in English? Okay. So let's read. Whenever people of a country truly love, the language which by heaven they were taught to use, that country also surely liberty pursue, as does the bird which soars to freer space above. It basically means if you love freedom, you will also love your own your own language. For language is the final judge and referee upon the people in the land where it holds sway. In truth, our human race resembles in this way the other living beings born in liberty. Again, if you are free, then you are also free to use your own language. Then whoever knows not how to love his native tongue is worse than any best or evil smelling fish. To make our language richer ought to be our wish, the same as any mother loves to feed her young. So again, if you do not use the language, it will die, like the language Latin. To enrich your language, keep on using it. And we're fond of our language. In fact, we enrich it with our own versions. We have the gay lingo, the Sinech Ite. If we have a gay or part of the LGBT here, you have enriched the Filipino language with a lot of additional words that some of us does not even know. Okay, true. So that's another Filipino additional. Let's move on. Tagalog and Latin language are the same, and English and Castilian, and the angel's tongue, and God whose watchful care over all is flung, has given us his blessings in the speech we claim. So it says here that God blesses all people, and it reflects on the language that God gave them. So the fact that we have Filipino, we are also a blessed country. Next, Tagalog, our mother tongue, like all the highest that we know, had alphabet and letters of its own, but these were lost by furious waves, were overthrown like bangkas in the stormy sea long years ago. So he's saying that the Filipino language is as superior as Latin or English, because we also have our own alphabets, although they are already lost. But after that, archaeologists find out that we have our own way of writing, the Alibata and the Baybayin. So Rizal is correct in here that we have a rich language that we ought to be proud of. So let's now go to the questions. According to Rizal, children can show love of country through what? So it's a very easy, after reading the passage, by speaking Filipino, okay? Others answered by pursuing liberty. Liberty is just compared to your freedom to speak your own language. But it's not basically Rizal's message to the youth. Remember, the title of this is Sa Aking Mga Kabata. He is asking his playmates or the children, 8 years old by that time, to enrich the Filipino language, because it's like pursuing liberty. At their age, 8 years old, they cannot pursue liberty yet, right? But they can certainly pursue speaking their own language, okay? Whoever knows not how to love his mother tongue is worse than any best or evil smelling fish. So this is, again, just like Robert Frost, this will not become famous if it has a very shallow meaning, like the horse rider stopped and then finds out that he is very far from home, so he rides again his horse and go home. It's not as simple as that. So it's the same here. It's just as simple as, you know, the one that does not love Filipino is not taking a bath or smelly. It simply means that your national language, if you do not show love for your national language, it shows bad character on you that will, you know, really reflect bad on your personality. It's like you know, you're smelling bad in front of other people like a fish. Okay, it's the analogy for that. Okay, and that ends our diagnostic questions for I'm sorry, the diagnostic test. And I see here that only 50% were able to answer correctly. It means that 50% of you are reading your comprehension questions without really understanding, okay? That's why I'm asking you to, guys, to strategize when you're answering English questions. Place the comprehension questions at the last part, answer them last. It will help you guys. Next, we will now go to the spelling. So if we have meaning of words, we also have spelling. And I'm sorry to tell you that spelling, or I can teach you the correct spelling today, but remembering them, that I cannot assure you, because what you see in the correct spelling right now will come into your short-term memory, and then 3 days from now, you will forget it if you're not using the same words over and over again. So I would recommend that once you see these words, you try to write them not every day, like every 3 days, and try to put in their proper spelling, and then check if you still get it. Because if you do not do it, after 1 week, you go back to your old way of spelling your English. So biodegradable, degrade is with an E, but if it's in the word biodegradable, there is no E following the anymore, okay? This is one of the, or 10 of you got it incorrectly, okay? And then another way to become familiar with the spelling is to try to look at the pictures of biodegradable. And for those students of you who are visual learners, you can remember the correct spelling better if you see the picture of the spelling, like this: biodegradable. See, no E. On top, biodegradable, no E. At the bottom, biodegradable, no E. That's the way to put it into your long-term memory inside your head. What is the correct spelling? Perceive. Here I can teach you the Alice, okay? The spelling mnemonic. So I always comes before E in any words except words containing C. Because words containing C is always followed by E. So if you have here perceive, normally I will comes before E. But since there's a C in this word, then E will attach to C and I will comes after. Okay, that's the rule of Alice. I before E, but not after C. Okay. There you go. Let Alice help you with the IE and EI puzzle. Look carefully at her name, Alice. After C follows E, and then we put I to get EI. After I or any consonant follow I, and we put E to get EI. What? No, I got confused. I will stick to my mnemonics. That is I before E, except C, which follows E. Okay. Like here, there's no C. Believe, therefore I before E. Here, peers, the I before E is not within this C, okay, except C, which follows E. So again, E is not affected here because C is in the last part, okay? But here, the C, it should be I before E, but however, there's a C in this, which is connected to E, so it becomes E before I, the seed, okay? Try to go over this, Alice, over and over again. So that's I before E, except C follows E. That's my mnemonic. What is the correct spelling? Phantom. Okay. Again, it's a common word, but very confusing to spell because all the phantom, except this, the first three looks correct when you spell it. So all you need to do is become familiar with the word phantom, okay? Like when you encounter this word, remember the hero that arrives like a ghost. That's why they call him the phantom, and it's only have one H. like the Philippines. Okay, so connect this to Philippines. Only have one H. Next spelling, heinous. Again, this is a simple word, but very confusing, and examiners will throw you these questions because it will give you the false sense of confidence that you got it, but actually they got you. Okay, but here you got it. Very good. 65 answered correctly. Heinous. Okay, it's not heinous because some Filipinos will say it's a heinous crime. Okay, so because of the incorrect pronunciation, you also get the incorrect spelling. So try to pronounce them properly so you could remember the correct spelling. You say heinous. So heinous, and then you try to spell it, you know right away there's no I after the N. But if you pronounce it heinous, then you will be confused. Wait, heinous, probably there's an I after N because I say it heinous. Okay, again, a wrong habit will, you know, brew another wrong habit. Okay, there you go. So again, for the visual, I get this very shocking image, so that it will go right smack inside your head. Heinous, okay, without E, and then just remember this dying, screaming victim of a heinous crime. Okay, that's how anything you may do to improve your recall, do it. Okay, for me, I'm a visual learner. Some say I have photographic memory, but I'm not like some of my other classmates in Pisay and UP. They can open a book and then just one look at it, know all the contents. Those are the real photographic memory. Me, I have to read probably two or three times before I put them inside my head. Right? What is the correct spelling? Occurrence. So 16 of you answered this incorrectly, but 75% or 58 got it correctly. Occurrence. For words such as this, I have the double. Okay, occurrence, double C, double R. Something like that. Accommodation, double C, double M. Okay, so try to write down these spellings plus any other words that you see in some of your reviewers, and write them down every 3 days. Do not write them every day because it will become like a muscle memory, meaning it's still inside your still inside your short-term memory, and you're able to do it correctly because you're not allowing yourself enough time to make you forget. Okay, the idea here is to test if you will forget, because if it's already in your long-term memory, you will not forget. So again, you could also, while you're spelling, you could also identify the meaning, like occurrence is incident, happening, manifestation, because it might also come out not as a spelling question, but as a meaning question, like what is the meaning of this, okay, or what is the equivalent meaning of this in this sentence, like the first part of our discussion. All right, tomorrow, this is also one of my few weak words. Every time I chat without the spell check of Microsoft Office Word, I got this incorrectly. When I'm chatting with there is no spell check. They always remind me, hey, you spelled it incorrectly, and you're an English teacher, okay? So because of that, I always try to, whenever I'm typing tomorrow, I double check. Okay, it should be single M, double R. Because to me, especially if you're writing with your hand, all the forms looks the same, except this last part, the single M, single R. It does not appear right. But if you look at the other three, all of them almost appear the same and correct. But only one, of course, is the correct spelling. There you go. Again, to put it inside your brain, the correct spelling, if you're visual, try to look at pictures that has the tomorrow letters on it, and hopefully it will go deeper into your long-term memory. There you go, my favorite, accommodation. I never get a wrong spelling with this because I keep repeating that double C double M for accommodation. And I always use this a lot because I travel also a lot, and I always look for accommodation. So I keep remembering the correct spelling. And it's the same with you guys. If you keep using those words, keep writing them, then you will not get it wrong during the exam. There you go. Accommodation. Before it's a spacious hotel, but now that there are so many people, it becomes a, just a capsule. Although the spacious room is still available, but they are very expensive. People who are practical will just go for the capsule. Aberration. All right. This is also my problematic word. That's not because it's a very long word, but because all the forms looks correct to me. Okay. So aberration. Just remember single B double R. Aberration. And to remember, okay, watch the movie Aberration, Tales of a Deviant. I don't know what this is, but if you watch the movie, probably you will remember the correct spelling of aberration. By the way, guys, I did not just pick these words to torment you guys. I get it from the reviewers, okay? Because from my experience, words they use in spelling and the synonyms, antonyms, they just recycle it, okay? So if you can look at many interview questions, exam reviewer questions, try to look for the spelling and the synonym and antonym parts and try to write all the words and become familiar with all of them. Unnecessary, again, another problematic word for me. So again, it's what do you call this? A combination of the negative suffix un, and then the word necessary. So always remember, since it's two separate words combined, there should be two N on it, okay? What I have here usually when I make an incorrect spelling of unnecessary is the double C, okay? But it's single C double S. And while you're trying to study the correct spelling, then you might as well also study the meaning, because it might not appear as a spelling question, but it might appear as a give the meaning question or give the opposite meaning question. So unnecessary is needless, unneeded, unessential. Superfluous is, kababawan, kaartehan. Okay. Again, another problematic word for me. A very ordinary word, but again, the spelling, embarrassment. I got confused with embarrassment with a single R and embarrassment with double R, okay? I always thought single R is also correct, like the necessary, only single C. But here, embarrassment, it's double R and double S. And most of you got it correct. Good. 68% got it correct. And 24 of you are like me, spell embarrassment with single R. Again, if you want to ace your spelling part, become familiar with your words, okay? There you go, embarrassment. Then while you're studying, double R, double S. Always remember that. That's how I associate the spelling with each word when I'm studying for CET. That's how I do it. Embarrassment, double R, double M, double R, double S. Accommodation, double C, double M. That's when I'm studying before. For now, no need. I just use spell check of word. Okay. The shame you feel when your inadequacy or guilt is made public. Again, embarrassment. There you go. That ends our discussion on spelling. We will go to the next, which is the analogy part. Okay. And in the analogy, it will not only test your vocabulary, it will also test your reasoning and of course your IQ. Okay. So if you have, you may be a very good English speaker. You speak English at home. Your father is an English professor. Your mother is a grammar Nazi. And you speak English 100% of the time. But if you have low IQ, you cannot survive the analogy test in English because it's a combination of critical thinking and of course, wide knowledge in vocabulary. Okay, grammar, no need. We're not talking about sentence construction here. Okay, so let's start. How do we answer the analogy? So we just check the relationship, like music. What is its relationship to exhibit? So what if it's a theater? What is the equivalent of exhibit if it's inside the theater? Okay, so 100%, very good. Answered performance. This is when only 79 people have answered. I don't know right now, because there's, before they close it, or my daughter closed the test, because I'm creating the slides earlier, it's already 84 respondents. So only 6 have not taken the diagnostic test. Probably are not interested in passing CET. Okay, like super rich. I don't need CET. My dad can pay me in any school, so they don't care. That's all right. You pass or you don't pass because your review is of your own doing, right? We or me, I am just here to help you pass that, and I'm providing the material and I'm giving you the tutorial. If you will not take the exam, or you will not review the video, or you will not even look at the slides, it's okay. Okay, it's your loss. It's not mine. Okay. So performance, very good. In a museum, you see exhibits. When you enter a theater, you will see, of course, a performance. So it will, you know, I've decided that it's better that we still review how we do the analysis when answering analogy questions. So I will have a short discussion of that. So there are 2 distinct types of knowledge that you will use when you're answering analogy. One is the knowledge of the words and terms used in the analogy. So you must be familiar with the words in the analogy, because you cannot answer this question, museum, exhibit, if you do not know the meaning of exhibit. So you might answer, what's exhibit? Is it a door? Is it a window? Okay. So you cannot answer correctly if you're not familiar with the words. So you need knowledge of words and terms. And the second one is you must have the ability to relate these words and terms in a reasonable or logical manner. That's the time you will use your head. So like what I've said before, even if you're speaking English at home, you have a large vocabulary, you know all the words in English, but if you do not have this, then no amount of me tutoring you will allow you to pass analogy test. But I'm happy to see that all of you are smart, okay? You were able to answer an analogy question correctly. So what are the tips that we should do in order for us to I know some of you can, or all of us can answer analogy questions, but how can we make it faster? Because some might take the entire testing time in order to finish it. That's why I did not give a time limit on the diagnostic test because I want you to, you know, use all the available resources. I want you to review our discussion in order for you to get the correct answer. But in the real setting, you will not have that, you know, privilege. You will have to rely on your own understanding. You will have to also do it fast because your time is limited. So how do we do it fast? So the simple way to do it is to first read the analogy as a sentence. Okay. For example, Nara tree. So I create a sentence like Nara is a tree and bungalow is a, okay. There must be the same relationship. Okay. Nara is a tree, bungalow is a, see, same words, is a. I do not change. And by there, you can now, by logical reasoning, say that if Nara is a tree, then bungalow is a house. See, same relationship. So the second step, well, I went ahead, substitute the third word for the first. There you go. Nara is a kind of tree. Bungalow is a kind of what? Of course, it's a kind of house. So house is your correct answer. Let's go back. We have pretty, lovely, insidious. So we know right away that pretty and lovely are synonyms, right? They mean the same. But like what I've said before, even if you know, you use this your head to, you know, arrive at a logical explanation of the relationship between pretty and lovely. If you do not know insidious, then it's useless. Remember, it's two-part, establishing the relationship and your wide vocabulary of words. So insidious, I don't know insidious also because I never use that word whenever I'm teaching. I only see insidious in the entrance test, sample entrance test. So I look at the dictionary and it means that it is used in reference to a disease that is not showing any symptoms. So basically what it means is asymptomatic. So if I say you have an insidious disease, it means that you may appear healthy and running, up and running, but you do not know that you're carrying a disease. So it's asymptomatic. And that is the answer to this one. And like me, so 41 of you answered hideous. Sounds like insidious, hideous. Or probably you're getting the clue from the word inside. So if you're inside, you're hiding. So you put in hideous. And you know, if asymptomatic is not a what do you call this? Is not a choice, then hideous will be the next answer. Because hideous, it's like hiding, right? Hiding your symptoms, right? But hideous will refer to many things, okay? Like what do you call this? Mapagtago. It could refer to not only symptoms but your secretly hiding your intentions. So you say hideous, okay? Aggressive. I don't know why others answered aggressive. Probably, and also aloof. Probably they just, you know, chamba chamba. But again, it's asymptomatic. The best answer. You might argue hideous could be an answer as well, but insidious is always or most of the time used when it refers to a disease, insidious disease. Sometimes the relationship is also opposite of, okay? In the example that we have, pretty, it's the synonyms, okay? Like small means tiny or petite. Pretty means also lovely. So insidious also means asymptomatic. cell phone, battery, and then car. And you're able to answer correctly. Oh, 80 answered, I mean 79 answered correctly engine, but 1 answered paint. Why? Battery will power your cell phone, right? So what do you think will power a car? It's not paint, okay? It's the engine. But don't worry, I cannot see who answered paint. I don't know whether you're serious about that or you did not read the question carefully. There you go. So it could be a part of something. But paint is also a part of a car, same as the other selection here. Tires and windshield is also part of a car. But here, it's a special part. It's a part that that gives power to the object. So you must also use your head and come up with the correct connection between the two words. So there's your battery to power your phone, and there's your engine to power your car. All right, kitten, cat, Joey, Tito Vic. No, there's no there's no option for Tito Vic there. But Joey is a baby kangaroo. Okay, so do not say bear or sloth or beaver. Okay, it's a baby kangaroo. As kitten is a baby cat. Okay, so most of you got this correctly. 76 people. There you go. Kittens become cats, and Joeys become kangaroos. Remember your certain rules in making a noun plural. So if it ends in O, usually you add es. If what comes before O is a consonant, like tomatoes, potatoes. But in a rare occasion that what comes before O is another vowel, like here, O, another O, then you just add S, kangaroos. So that's a review for you in the noun module that we have taken before. Next, burger, fries. So you hear this a lot, especially in the exceptions in the SBA. They are just one particular meal, therefore singular. So same with fish and chips. Why rice? Oh, Filipino. So you think fish comes with rice, but we're talking about American culture here. There's no rice in the US. Their source of carbohydrates is potato, and it's either chips, potato chips. So you slice them very thinly, or you make them in you call that the fries, the long. They have a special slicer for that, and then they deep fry, and they call it fries. So if you're a Filipino, then rice is the correct answer. But again, it's in relation to the American culture, and fish comes with chips. And again, trivia, before, in the Middle Ages, when you buy fish and chips in England, they will give it to you wrapped in a newspaper. So it's not very clean or hygienic. There you go. So you have your burger. There you go, your meat, your vegetable in there. You have the carbohydrate in the potatoes and the bun. Same with fish. You get served with with potatoes in chips. Okay, and that's their meal. I can't imagine surviving in the U.S. on this meal alone. I would still, look for rice. A meal is not complete without rice. Stethoscope for doctor, and gavel is for what? So you think it's senator? Not all senators will use a gavel, okay? And others would choose a carpenter. A carpenter uses a hammer, but not a gavel, because a gavel is all looks like a hammer, but it's made of wood. Okay, what you use when you're order in the court. Okay, it's like a small wooden mallet or hammer that you pound on another piece of wood to make a sound. Okay, and the only one who used that is the chairman of any committee. He could be a senator, she could be a congressman, but the one who's using the gavel is the chairman only. Okay, so this is a case of is used by the user. So one is asking what is gavel. So probably the one who chose carpenter as the answer. Okay, gavel is just like a hammer, but made of wood, and it's not used to, drive a nail inside a piece of wood, but it's used to call for attention. Akala ko yung shovel. Nakakaiyak. Well, we also undergo that, that phase when you have no idea what the word is, and you just, just select the first option that occurs in your mind. So a gavel is like this. You see this guy holding a wooden, it's like a hammer actually, but it's not used for carpentry. Okay, while a stethoscope is used by the doctor. Akala ko label. Again, do not assume. Okay, you're not from Assumptionist College. Okay, or Assumptionista. Unless, of course, sorry if you have a classmate here who is an Assumptionista, yayamanin. I hope no one here is from Assumption College, because I'm making fun of Assumption College as Assumptionista. All right, next. I know this is your favorite topic, heart, then love, then head is blank. So if you are not able to answer this correctly, wala kang jowa. Because we know that heart, we use it for love, right? In the same way as we use our head for reason. But others said, or 24 of you said, we use head for the brain. Well, makes sense, because you put your brain inside your head. But again, these are the walang jowa, because the emotional people will say, will I use my head or will I use my heart? Right? It means you will use your head, piliin mo yung manliligaw mong pangit pero mayaman, or you will use your heart, piliin mo yung pogi na mahal ka talaga pero mahirap lang. I'm sorry. I'm reading your chats and I'm laughing because when love is mentioned, all of you becomes active. Okay, so someone chatted, pangit daw pero mayaman, and some even my classmates in Pisay before, female high school, my female high school classmates, whenever they talk to each other before, they would say, mag-aasawa tayo, mayaman. It's like they're using their head. Because in Pisay, it's seldom that you will find a very emotional student there. All of them are using their head. But it's not it's not good to always use your head. So again, here the correct answer is reasoning. Reason. Okay, heart figuratively is used to love. Okay, in Pisay, someone will argue against me with it. No, heart is a cardiovascular organ used to pump blood into your heart and to the rest of your organ for circulation, something like that. But not in here. We're talking about love, okay, or emotion. Then head is used to reason, And some of you here say, no, it's head is used to hold your brain. So we have many here who are, probably nerds. So they choose brain as their answer. And of course, that's wrong. Mayaman na malapit na mamatay. All right, that's a good way to use your head instead of your heart. All right, let's go to the next. Leather, shoes, plastic, and 5 answered friend. Kawawa naman yung 5. May mga kaibigang plastic. Okay, so I kind of laughed when I saw this, but most of you answered pale because it's what a thing is made of. Okay, so shoes are made of leather, and pail, the one where you store water with. You cannot use a material like paper to store water, so it has to be plastic. But again, 5 of you answered a friend. Friend mo made of plastic. Ganun ka bitter sa iyong friend. Okay? Siguro niloko ka lang ng iyong friend kaya plastic. But anyway, 72 answered correctly. So the analogy here is, again, what is made of, or what is a thing made of? Shoes are made of leather. In the same way, pails are made of plastic. There's someone who answered water. So, magtitinda daw ng yelo. Ice tubig yan. Siguro naisip ice tubig. That's why plastic is equated to water. All right, sun, dry, rain, what? So probably you could equate this to weather. So if it's a sunny day, it's dry. If it's a rainy season, it's wet. You could also equate this to cause and effect. So if you hang your clothes under the sun, then it will dry. If it's left in the rain, then it will get wet. So it's a cause and effect. Okay, sun is the cause of dry clothes. You let them dry under the sun, and if you let them outside during a rain, it gets wet. So sun, dry, rain, wet. Terrence, blink twice if you need help. What's the problem of Terrence? And anyway, I'm happy, guys, that you're getting close to each other. You're continuing the Zoom meeting after the lesson. That's good. Okay. Some of you might even find your lifetime partner here. You never know, right? That's what we call bilog ang mundo. All right, kilogram weight. Pint is for what? So if kilogram, we use it to measure weight. So pint is probably a measurement of something, and you cannot answer this if you have no idea what pint is, because pint is only an American measurement. Here in the Philippines, we use liters, the metric system of measurement. In the imperial system, they use pint, gallons, okay? Although in Filipino, we also have our own, which is no longer used, but I remember my grandmother using the salop. So it's like a small wooden box with a particular size. So that's what we call the salop. And we have the kanta, okay? So, but we no longer use them today. We are already following the units used by the international community. Kung di ka para sa UP, yung taga-UP na lang. You cannot enter UP, then just get a UP or UP girlfriend or boyfriend. Makes sense. So pint is, if you will Google, it's a measurement of volume, okay? So again, having a wide vocabulary will assist you in answering analogy questions. So kilogram is a measure of weight, pint is a measure of volume. All right. So analogy, sometimes they can make it even even more difficult by removing the third word. They will just give you the two words that are connected, and then it's up to you to supply the other two words that has the same relationship to the given word pair. And I think this is on the college level, but well, you never know. Sometimes they will also give this to senior high, so it's best that we also have an exercise on verbal relationship with only two-word pair. Like here, students, good grades. So these are general groupings or general groupings of verbal relationship. Because what is the relationship between students and good grades? And the most logical analysis here is students are always aiming for good grades. Okay. So some of you, or almost have answered architects aiming for beautiful art. It's only halfway correct because beautiful art can cover a lot of different works, not only houses or buildings. So it covers paintings, sculpture, which are not part of, or which are not part of the aim of architects. Okay, but here police aiming for peace and security. This is a general truth. Okay, that is the function of police. Okay, so that's where you could make the connection. Carpenter, daily wage. Of course, carpenter will aim to get a daily wage, but that is not really their purpose of being a carpenter, right? Their purpose is to build houses, build furnitures, not just earning your daily wage. Same with nurse. You're not there to just to get your hazard pay. You're there to help heal people. Okay, so the best answer here is police. And you may even put that in a sentence. Students aim to get good grades as police aim to get peace and security by, apprehending criminals. We have so many chats. Mga dibil. Itulog mo na. Okay. So these are ways to keep you guys awake. That's all right. As long as you're still following our discussion of the test questions. All right. Bear, mammal. So this is a relationship of class, their order, the particular example. Okay. So it's not crocodile congressman. Like like two of you answered crocodile congressman. That's I don't know if they are being sarcastic or not. But it's basically bear is a type of mammal, right? Because they have mammary glands. They feed their babies with milk. Okay. So there you go. Bears have mammary glands. That's why they called mammals. Same with whales. That's why whale fish is not correct, because whale is also a mammal because they also have mammary glands and they have lungs. Okay, so the correct analogy here of bear mammal is shark fish, because fish is also a class and fish have gills, same as shark. Shark have gills. They do not have lungs, unlike whales. So this is the correct analogy. And we also have Philippines, Manila. So if you answer Bicol, Naga City, as 5 of you did, Naga City is not the capital of Bicol. It's Legazpi City. Malaysia, Singapore. Before, Singapore is part of Malaysia, and it is I think they made it the capital, but Singapore gets so rich, so they end up subsidizing the poorer provinces. So they decided that they should be independent. So they vote not to join the Federation of Malaysia. So now Singapore is no longer the capital of Malaysia. Okay, Kuala Lumpur is the capital of Malaysia. China, the capital is Beijing. So the correct analogy here is Austria. Vienna is the capital of Austria. And most of you got this correctly. So again, the relationship is country paired to capital. So Manila is the capital of the Philippines, as Vienna is the capital of Austria. Next. Right, there are only 50 of you here, so 5 were not able to, stay for the longest time. But that's okay, guys. This is only for those who really want to have a discussion of the entire diagnostic. Then we have the hound bitch. So again, this is a male, female for dogs. Male dog is hound. Female dog is bitch. Okay, I'm not referring to your mothers. Okay, I'm not saying a bad word, but this is actually a correct English word for female dogs. It's called bitch. Okay, so it's not chicken hen, because chicken is not the male equivalent of hen. Chicken is it refers to both hen and rooster, the male chicken. Same with bull and carabao. Male carabao is a bull. Okay. Oops, I forgot about the female. Female carabao. And then we have the non-prostitute. And 12 answered non-prostitute. I mean, what's the connection? Oh, because of the bitch. Bitch, they thought probably it's prostitute. Okay. And then hound, I don't know how they connect it to none. But anyway, the correct answer is boar, which is the male pig, and sow, which is the female pig. There you go. So female bitch is, of course, with this is mammals. They have mammary glands, and of course the hound will have balls. Okay. And here you cannot see their gender, but by their position, you know here in this picture, what is the boar here and what is the sow in the position of the pigs. Okay, so here sex, male or female, is apparent. And for you to answer this type of analogy, you must become familiar with the male and female of each animal. Okay, as many as you can. Like for pig, what is the male and the female? For dogs, what is the male and the female? For goose, I think male goose is gander. Female is also hen, something like that. Okay, when I take CET, I memorize that. Nagising ang mga natulog na kaluluwa. Piggyback ride. I know most of you have courses in high school in sex education, so you can take those kind of lessons. Okay. Anyway, that is just to emphasize the function of the male and female in a particular population. All right, most of you got this incorrectly. You selected farm rice. Farmer does not only work with rice. They plant. Okay, they plant rice, but they do not work with rice in such a way as to use tools to manipulate them as much as sculpture do to marbles. Okay, remember, a plumber will work on pipes, right? Cut them, put a lining for the screw, okay, and then put the pieces together to form a wide network of pipes where water can flow. And the best analogy for that is the way a sculptor will also do to a marble. Okay, so even though farmer and rice can make sense, but that is not the best answer. Okay, the best answer is sculpture, marbles. Architecture and wiring, there's no connection. Probably electrical engineer or electrician to wiring, then it might also make sense. Good thing that no one answered engineer animals, because it will be the zoologist who will work with animals. So the relationship here is worker works on what object, okay? So for example, plumber will work on pipes, and sculptor works on marbles. You know, a sculptor loves marbles because they are a beautiful rock, and they are soft enough to be chiseled without cracking. Okay, because the harder the stone is, not only are they very difficult to chip away the pieces to form them, but also they break. Okay, they break into areas where you do not want to remove too much material. Unlike marble, it's although it's not very durable like any other rock like granite, but it's soft enough for you to create beautiful works of art for marble. Okay. Next, dove. This refers to peace. Okay, so this is symbolism. So what is the best analogy? It's not pig will refer to fat, although in the Philippines we do that. When we see something or our classmates is fat, we call them pig. Okay, but that's not the best analogy there. Eagle, death. That's not correct. The symbol of death is, you know, the kamatayan, the skeleton in a black hood with a, we call it the reaper. Okay, it's not a reaper of rice because it will not have a. The reaper of rice is a small, like scythe, which you harvest rice. But the reaper, the kamatayan, has a long handle because they harvest real people's lives. And it's also not stork, it's to baby. Okay, so the correct answer is laurel will symbolize victory. Like in before, when you are victorious in a competition in Greece, they do not have medals yet. They do not have gold medals, silver medals, and bronze medals. But they use instead, in order to honor those victorious, is they get a wreath, a garland, and put them in the head of the winners. That's why laurel becomes a symbol of victory. But dove, when you see a dove, since dove are very peaceful creatures, normally they are used as symbol of peace. So those are the best analogy for that. Right, we're almost done with the analogy. Let's just finish this and then we will take a break. Let me read some chats. Okay, sickle, scythe. I think it's scythe. Just Google. I do not know the exact term for the knife with a curved handle. So just Google them. All right, so let's go for the next shoes rack. Of course, it's where you place your shoes, in the shoe rack. Same way as you place your shelf into or your books into a bookshelf. Okay, so good thing most of you are in his or her right mind when you answer this. So 100% get this correctly. Very good. It's a very easy analogy. If you will look there, see, shoes are placed on a rack, same as books are placed on a shelf. So it's a very easy analogy. But sometimes they will not make the analogy very easy. So like this one, deaf, hearing. So although many answered correctly, amnesia, memory, but others made a mistake, like mute feeling. There's no connection. Mute is the absence of speaking, right? It's not the absence of feeling. Because if it's absence of feeling, that's pusong bato. No, I'm just kidding. It's the leprosy, ketong disease with absence of feeling or absence of touch. Okay, it's a disease. It's also acrid taste. Acrid is a type of taste, like vinegar is acrid. Okay, and diabetic it's not absence of sugar. In diabetic, you have sometimes a lot of much sugar in your body because your insulin is very low. You cannot process sugar anymore. That's why they have their legs amputated because sugar in their blood is sort of making their wound worse until they have to be amputated. So the best analogy here is deaf. Deaf is the absence of hearing, the same way as amnesia. See, deaf lacks hearing, same as amnesia. Amnesia lacks memory. See, you don't remember me. You can't find an animation that demonstrate amnesia, so this will do. You don't remember me. You don't remember me. They call this anime, GIF anime. Okay. Right. We have another one. A book preface. Whenever you open a book, the first words that you will see is the preface. Okay, so that's sort of introduce a book, and it's the same with Constitution. Whenever you open a Constitution, the first words that you will see there is the preamble. So it's not prelude, overture. It's not play, epilogue. For play, the best analogy is I don't know, prologue, something like that. And it's not opera intermezzo. I think intermezzo is in between the opera or in between the performance. So the best analogy here is Constitution preamble, like that. So we the people, blah, blah, blah. That's the opening of the Constitution, the preamble. Same with the book. This is not a preface of the book, but it's a nice animation. So I put in there to represent the book. But preface is what you normally see when you open the book. It's the first page that you will see. Right? Last of the analogy before we take our break. So here, bacteria, antibiotic. So we know that antibiotic is the cure for bacteria. That's why it's anti, right? If it fights virus, we say antiviral, okay? So the best analogy here is the antidote, which is curing poison, okay? It's not COVID and then vaccine, because vaccine is a preventive measure. So you take the vaccine when you do not have COVID, okay? Because it will sort of prevent you from getting COVID. But if you already have a COVID, then it's a virus. What you will need is not the vaccine anymore, but the antiviral, okay, drugs. So like that. Antibiotic is the cure for bacteria, see? And is killing so many bacteria, and the bacteria kept getting bigger. So they sort of illustrate the resistance of bacterial resistance to antibiotics. That's why they do not recommend you taking antibiotics without the prescription of doctors, because you might end up encouraging bacteria to, especially if you take insufficient antibiotics because you self-medicated, then it might encourage the bacteria inside your body to become stronger, okay? Because you fight them and then you do not let them get all annihilated, meaning the surviving bacteria which are the strongest will now multiply again. And what they will multiply into is, a lot more stronger bacteria that will be harder to cure. Then same with poison. So if you get poison, you will die unless you have an antidote to cure your poison. So we also have another part, which is the antonyms. And the antonyms, this is a very difficult part because there's no context clues. Unlike before, they gave you the sentence, so you could derive the meaning. But here, they just show you the word and then ask you what is the opposite meaning. And sometimes this is also a trap question because they will give you the synonyms, so that if you forget that you're actually looking for the opposite, you might end up answering the synonyms, not the antonyms. So here we have, sorry, we have enervate. Sometimes you can check, probably enervate is being full of energy because it sounds like energize, right? But actually enervate is slowing down. So it has the opposite meaning. So the correct answer here, the opposite of enervate, is energize. And we have no way of, or there's no concept here to understand. All you need to do is to get a thesaurus and familiarize yourself with these words. An equivocal, it means clear. So, so if I say we have an equivocal understanding of the anti-terror bill, then it means that what the anti-terror bill means is very clear to you, okay? So the opposite of that is ambiguous. Tumult, so it will give you if you can imagine tumult, like untol-untol, tumult, okay? Rowdy, that's the synonym, okay? So it's not Yakult, sounds like tumult, Yakult. Someone answered Yakult. What are you thinking? Okay, but there's only one student. But the opposite of that is peace. Okay, so if there's tumult, untol-untol, if you're standing still and at peace with yourself, then you're peaceful. All right, hapless. So basically hapless is in the same sense with helpless, but only in terms of luck, okay? If you always encounter bad luck, then you're hapless. You're a hapless individual. The synonym is unfortunate, okay? So since we're looking for the antonyms, then the answer is blessed. So 66 answered blessed, and 9 thought they're looking for synonyms. And you might make these mistakes also. I made this, I think, at least once. I'm answering really fast, and then I read the direction again, and it tells me that I should be answering the antonyms. So I have to, good thing I was able to notice. I have already answered 5 questions, selecting the synonyms, only to find out that I should be selecting the antonyms. And I just find that out when in the selections there's no synonym in the question. And I said, why did the examiner put in here a question without any answer? Okay, but there are so many antonyms. So I, wait, there must be some mistakes. I look at the direction again, and it says there antonyms. So again, guys, be very careful. So hapless, that's unfortunate. So the opposite meaning is blessed or blessed, depending whether you're in the US or in England. Right? Overweening. So overweening, the meaning of that is GGSS, gandang-ganda sa sarili. Okay, and some of you answered gandang-ganda sa sarili. That's the equivalent meaning, or bombastic. You're so you're so proud of yourself and you idolize yourself. That's overweening. So the opposite of that is humble. Pert, I do not know this word. I just encountered this or when I look at the sample questions. But again, guys, it helps to become familiar with those that are appearing on your reviewers, because those are what they are recycling. They just recycle them. Of course, put them in different questions, like find the synonym or find the opposite meaning, the antonym. And pert is when you're, when you're, what do we call this? When you're joking, you're insulting someone, you're not taking them seriously. That's what it means. When I look at the dictionary, Merriam-Webster, I'm not using pert. Even in my classes, I'm not using the word pert. That's why I have no idea what it means. But after looking at the dictionary, then the opposite of that, of course, is sincere. Okay, so some of you are sincere here in learning or reviewing, and then some of you are pert. Okay. Jeopardy. Okay, if you're playing the game Jeopardy, it will encourage you to take some risks. So probably that will give you an idea. Jeopardy is danger, right? Otherwise, if the game is there's no risks and danger in the game, then the game Jeopardy will not be famous. It will not even be exciting. It will be a very boring game to watch. So if Jeopardy is taking risks and danger, then the opposite is, of course, safety. And most of you got that correctly. Sorry. Shopping. I also do not know about shopping. First time I encountered this word, and the first thing that comes to my mind is balakubak, shopping, shops. Okay, and when I check the dictionary, it's when you're not serious, you're just making fun. That's shopping. It's not shopping. Okay, shopping is in fact, I would have answered, if I did not look at the dictionary, I would have answered durable, because if a thing is shopping, meaning nalalagas, or chips are falling off from the surface, then it's not durable. So for me, basing on my experience, I will answer durable. And most of you answered durable, 32 of you. And we will be all wrong. So my tip for you guys, if you come up with an unfamiliar word, open your thesaurus and the dictionary. And that's the only way to be able to answer these types of questions. So it's not pricey, okay? Jesting is the synonym of shopping, jesting, or giving jokes. In the Middle Ages, in the castles of a prince and princesses, they do not have TV. They do not have internet. So the way to entertain themselves is they hire jesters. Okay, they are the clowns. Okay, the one that gives jokes. Okay, makes them laugh and gives them entertainment. So the opposite of that is serious. Beatific. I think this will be beautiful, but again, we're looking for the antonym. Okay, so my what do you call this? Recall of beatific is the word beatify whenever someone is about to become a saint. So he is beatified. So for my meaning, regarding this word because I'm also not using this word. So I figured it's either ugly, the opposite, or depressed. Okay. So when I look at the dictionary, the meaning of beautify or beatific is, you know, something that is happy, okay, content with his life. That's why beautify. That's in reference to the saint that are, you know, live um, a um, full content life here on earth. That's why they are, you know, candidates for sainthood. So if you're not content with your life, you're not happy with your life, then the opposite of that is depressed. So that's the correct answer. It's not ugly, okay? It's not referring to physical appearance, such as beautiful. It refers to physical appearance, but beatific is with regards to, you know, your state of happiness. Okay, that's what it means. Let me take a look at ugly sagot ko. Yeah, because it sounds like beautiful. Again, guys, the only way to get this correctly is familiarize yourself. Even me, I will give the wrong answer for words that I have no idea what they mean about. Okay, and I pick them from your reviewer to, you know, familiarize you with their meaning. Oblivious, I'm familiar with this. If I say I'm oblivious to your tantrums, it means that I'm not paying attention, okay? Or your girlfriend is suggesting you buy her a nice jacket for your monthsary, and you have already bought her 5 jackets for the last 5 monthsaries that you had, and you're tired of giving her jackets. So you're oblivious to her next, you know, request for another jackets. So that's oblivious. So the opposite of that is aware. So if you're not paying attention and you suddenly start paying attention, the opposite, then you are now aware of what is being asked of you. Okay. Oblivious run. That's the oblation run. In UP, when you do the oblation run, it's done by the APO fraternity for their recruits. It's naked all the way. So they run on the UP building. Of course, they're embarrassed to be recognized. So they're not embarrassed to show their, you know, their dinghies. So they cover their face, okay, with only the eyes showing, and then they run with ABS-CBN and GMA telling, and so many people in the, you know, on the side of the road, and they run with their dinghies dangling like that. Okay, that's the oblation run for you. And if you think it's only for the neophytes or the or those who apply, that's not really true. Some Apple members are doing the oblation run for the fun of it every year. So if you're 7 years in college, they're doing the oblation run seven times, and they you know, sort of enjoy being able to run around naked without you going to jail, because it's already a wonderful tradition. And every December, the media and people all over the country are waiting for the oblation run. So for yes. Okay, sorry, I thought someone is asking more about the oblation run. So let's now go to, so we're done with the oblivious. All right. The president's, all right, now we will, there's other types of questions like instead of identifying the error in the sentence, you are supposed to supply the correct word that will complete the sentence meaning and also make the sentence grammatically correct. So it's like identifying errors but on a higher level. Okay? Kakalat ng hotdog nyo. Don't worry, guys. When you enter UP, you will experience that. Okay, and you will, for girls, if you're the only one looking, you will feel shy and ashamed. But everyone is looking, so it's like go with the flow. And they even approach if they see a beautiful student or koleyala watching, they have roses. They have, you know, when they run, they have bags of roses, and then when they find someone watching and she is pretty, they will approach and that they will give a rose. Of course, with you know, dangling in front of the girl, and someone will give you a rose. So if I see a lot of pretty students here. So if you watch an oblation,
Excuse me, sir.
be prepared if someone approach you fully naked and give you a rose. So that's um, it's their tradition really. You run naked. Oh.
Sir, may nagtatanong, sir, if nag-oblation run daw po ba kayo?
I don't know. I'm not part of any fraternity in UP. Okay, only if you apply for Apple, Alpha Phi Omega. Okay, Alphians. If you want to be part of their brotherhood, you have to run naked. Okay, I'm not a fraternity. I do not, you know, because during my time, frat wars are very rampant in UP. So I avoided fraternity altogether. There's like the Centilla juries in UP is fighting with the Sigma Rho, and they carry bats. So whenever they meet, they, you know, they hack each other to death, and many students die because of that. Okay, so it's better for Apple, because Apple, I think Apple is a very peaceful frat and very famous because of that. They run naked. Okay, so no other fraternity would envy their position because they run naked. Right, we go to the last 10 questions. Okay, so we're almost done. So this is the last 10 questions, which is supplying the correct answer. So the president's SONA is so blank that it addresses no important current issues besieging the nation. So the word here that will complete the meaning of the sentence is the word irrelevant. Okay, because if it's comprehensive, then it addresses the issues. But the fact that it does not address any issue, then it's irrelevant. When you know you're in your SONA, you just say the P word and recount your experiences with this guy or this guy. It's not really relevant to the national issues. Again, here you will need a wide vocabulary. Okay, so preparation is important for your CET. Sir Nathan gave blank students some diagnostic tests. So the pronoun here must agree with the person. So if you're talking about, if this statement is talking about someone that is not part in that conversation, then it should use third person pronoun and Sir Nathan. That's the clue. Then it should be in the masculine form. So the correct answer here is his, because it appears before the noun students. Then it should be in the possessive form. Third person possessive pronoun. Okay, so his, and everyone got it correctly. You have a lot of chats. Sir, nag-oblation run ka po ba? I think I've answered that already. Puti naman kayo sa virus ko. Oh, from Kojic. Kojic, the whitening soap. Where are we? Right, next, each set review student listened attentively to the tutor. They performed well in blank diagnostic test. So we are referring here to students, okay? Although here I use each set students, meaning one by one, they listen attentively. But here on the second, they are now behaving as more than one, okay? So they perform well in their, I will use their to be consistent with the subject they, because now they are in the plural form. So their diagnostic test, correct. Again, diagnostic is a noun, so the pronoun before it should be in the possessive form because they are acting as an adjective. Next. Sloths are quite blank. They spend most of their lives hanging upside down, doing nothing in the tropical trees of the tropical rain forests of South America and Central America. So it's not innate, because innate is referring to something you have since birth, okay? It's referring to your behavior that you're not very active. You just, you know, hang like a clothes left to dry. So you just hang there doing nothing. So that's sedentary. If you spend all day lying on the sofa, reading or chatting in Facebook, so that's sedentary, not very active. So the correct, by the clues in the rest of the sentence, you will know right away here that it's referring to a sedentary lifestyle. Okay, next. Everyone on the team blank contributed to the success of the activity. So we have here an indefinite pronoun that is always singular. Remember, everyone, each one, anyone, everybody. Even if the idea there is more than one, but the fact that you use an indefinite pronoun that refers to a singular person, you take them one by one, okay? So you use the singular verb has contributed to the success of the activity. Still 18, use the plural form. So you still are not getting this. Kindly review our module on pronoun, okay? The indefinite pronoun, always plural, the BF most, both, few, many, others, and several. Okay, and then we have the, those are all always plural, BF most, and we also have the, can be plural or singular, like the all, some, none, those can be plural or singular. And then we have the always in singular, the everyone, no one, anybody, everybody, okay? Let's move on to the next. We're about to finish. I think that they're blank, one of Jose Rizal's book, On Top of the Shelf. And everyone answered is. And I would have answered is also because you have the word one, right? One. So it should be singular, right? But you forgot that if you qualify the reality of this statement, it is not yet true. Because you're just thinking about it, right? If you observe, then it's truth. I observe that there is one of Jose Rizal's books on top of the shelf. But if you just say, I think, then it's not yet true. Therefore, it is in the, can anyone answer? If you can still remember everything that we have discussed so far. If you cannot qualify the statement as the reality as of the moment, then the statement is in what mood? Can anyone?
Subjunctive mood po.
There you go. So if it's not yet the truth, it's hypothetical or a wish, or it's just inside your head, then it's in the subjunctive mood. Therefore, as we have discussed earlier, if it's in the subjunctive mood, singular subjects takes plural verbs. So we will use, or the correct answer is the plural linking verb are. I think that there are one of Jose Rizal's books on top of the shelf. You now get it, guys, the subjunctive mood? Because many of you are very confused earlier, okay? So what you need to ask yourself is it true right now, what the statement is saying? If it's not yet true, it's still in the mind, or it's just a suggestion, or it's just a command, then singular verb will take plural. I'm sorry, singular noun will take plural verb. So again, guys, if you're still having some confusion with subjunctive, there's no harm in, reviewing what they are all about. Okay, when taking CET, to answer accurately is more important than, I'm sorry, when taking CET, to answer accurately is more important than cheating, to finish quickly, a quick finish, finishing quickly. Here we must use parallel construction, okay? When you use to answer accurately, this is a to infinitive. So that means when you are comparing it to another verb or noun or pronoun, that other noun or pronoun must also be in the to infinitive, okay? So saying done a quick finish or done finishing quickly is not correct. So it has to be in the to infinitive as well. So the correct answer is to finish quickly. When taking CET, to answer accurately is more important than to finish quickly, okay? We will not discuss that anymore. Just read on parallel construction. It's sort of making all your verbs in the same form. Like I am playing guitar, singing, and dance. So that's not parallel, okay? So everything must be in the present participle. I am playing guitar, singing, and dancing, okay? So all the verbs must be in the same form. If it's in the present participle, put them all in the present participle, okay? What else? My wish is to be a doctor, to be a father, and get rich. Again, that's not correct grammar. You have a to infinitive, then everything must be begin with to. You have so many chats, so everyone is laughing. I'm glad, guys, that you're enjoying. I don't know whether you're enjoying each other's company or you're enjoying because this session is about to end. John was always blank in reviewing his CET modules, waiting until the night before the exam. Then again, this will require your knowledge of vocabulary, okay? So I'm looking here for procrastinating, because that is what the word means to complete the sentence, but it's not part of the choices, okay? Lazy could substitute, okay? But you could be lazy but not, cramming. You're lazy today, but you're taking a little, probably half a module every day. So you're still reviewing in a timely manner. But if you say dilatory, you may be lazy, or you may be studious, but you do not study right before the exam. That's cramming. And I just found out that one of the other words you can use for that is dilatory. Okay. So I'm not familiar with dilatory. The only way to find out is, again, open your dictionary and thesaurus. Okay. And what are the words to look for? Open as many reviewers as you can and look at the words that they are throwing at you. Okay. They are usually just recycle those words when on the actual CET exam. Right. The sets of equipment blank been set up for the concert. So the correct answer here is been set up. Then you need here a helping verb, either have or has, but your has or have has to agree with the subjects. So you might think equipment is a mass noun, so singular, has, and the 28 of you fall for this trap, okay? Even if this is a mass noun, which does not have a plural form, you inserted a quantifier, which can be counted, sets, okay? So equipment is non-count, so always singular. But if you put in a quantifier like sets, it becomes plural. Therefore, you must use have. Same with water. You cannot make water plural. You can say waters. Let me get 6 waters. How can you count them? Okay. But I can put in a quantifier like 6 glasses of water are many. There I could now use the plural form. So same here with the equipment. I use the quantifier sets, which is plural. Therefore, my verb should be plural or also have. Next. That's the last question, and then we can all go rest for the night. And we still have 6 minutes. So the theme of the essay, blank, the experiences of our heroes. So everyone, oh, sorry. Almost more than 50%, to be exact, that's 59%, get it correctly. The theme of the essay is the experience of our heroes. Some answered are because of the object is plural, the experiences, okay? Again, guys, when applying the SBA rules, you must determine only the singularity and plurality of the subject, which is here the theme, which is singular, okay? Do not be confused with the subject complement because you're using a linking verb here, remember? So subject and then subject complement are both in the nominative or subjective form and both mean the same thing, okay? But when we are applying the verb, whether singular or plural, we will look for the subject theme, which is singular. So do not be confused. Even if the subject complement is more than one, you still use plural, is, okay? This is pagulo. I'm thinking many will also get confused, but I see here that you know the drill when it comes to SBA, that you stick to the subject, okay? You only get confused when it comes to the subjunctive mood. Again, guys, subjunctive mood, singular, subject, takes plural verbs, okay? They are not following SBA. So that ends our marathon discussion of 100 CET English questions. Again, if you need to contact me, you may email cetprivatereview@gmail.com or contact me via text, Globe 0977-012-4007 and Smart 0930-523-4564. And you may also contact me via Skype, nathanael.alviso. And thank you for the 42 students who made it until the end and I will leave you guys with another wonderful quote from Malala Yousafzai, a Nobel Peace Prize recipient. So this is a young woman, much the same age as you guys, when she made this quote: "I don't mind if I have to sit on the floor at school. All I want is education, and I'm afraid of no one." Okay, so if you're really into educating yourself and following your dreams through college, you will not mind whether it's going to be a long, boring session, or you will have to sit in front of your laptop for hours, as long as you get an education and you get to continue learning through college. So again, guys, good luck on your English CET exam. Tomorrow we will start on the I'm thinking whether it's gonna be math or general science, okay? But I think it's better if we start with math, okay? So tomorrow we will have an introductory discussion of the basic concepts of math, like the PEMDAS, the BODMAS, one of the source of confusion when it comes to the number operation. And then we will discuss the property of numbers, of everything, all the basic concepts in order for you to solve math CET questions. All right. So
Sir, what is the highest score po? Thank you po.
highest scorer 100.
Char.
You want to know who took the 100? That's me. because I let me share to you hold on for a moment. Even my daughter, she was amazed that she approached me. Again, it's the end of the so she approached me and told me that you had a student who got a perfect score, because it's showing on the responses. And I told her that student is me, because I test first whether the question is so there are 8. Hold on, let me share this, the result of the share. All right, so we have 84 who took the exam. So including me, that's 83 students from you guys. And there you go. So the 100 here, do not ignore that, because that's me testing whether the diagnostic test is working. So the mean is 66. It's basically a normal curve. We call this the bell curve. So I'm happy that you are progressing as normal learners are doing. We have one who got 92.
Go, Shella.
I've told you guys that I cannot see the names of those who got the highest or who got the lowest. So do not be afraid. If you are the lowest to get the score, then I do not know you. So 92 second is, so that was Sheila. Congratulations, Sheila. And then we have our 90. We have one who got 90.
Thank you, sir.
Who got 90?
Sir, that's me po.
What's your name? Hello. So we will only reveal the names of those who got the highest. Don't worry for the outliers on the 42, on the 45. We will not mention your names. But we will congratulate the. So Sheila got the highest, and then who got 90? Hello. Oh, she's shy of revealing herself. Hold on, let me read the chat. Oh, that's Luna. So nasira ang mic. So Luna, Luna get the 90. Okay. And then we have 85. Who got 85? So Sheila got 90, Luna got 85. Sheila got 92, Luna got 90, and 85 is, well, I think no one is. The rest are shy admitting how many they get correct answers. But anyway, guys, this is not this is just a diagnostic test. It just reveals how much you know already and how you will fare on the exam. Do not be you know, terrified that you only got the median points. Remember, I told you, I gave you half of the questions here are already on the college level types of questions, because I do not want you to, you know, become complacent with your review. But so far, I'm very happy that you have learned a lot during the 5 sessions that we have taken. Okay, so it's already 8:03. Thank you for the 42 participants. Thank you for staying with me for the longest, you know, class session that I have conducted so far. So you're now free to go. I'm going to end this meeting right now. Okay, bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.